All right. This is Reginald Matthews, and we are working with Chapter 7, Design with Color. Now, I like fashion, I love sports, and in both of those things, you tend to notice that you see color combinations that tend to stand out pretty often, whether it be the New Orleans Saints with black and gold, Southern Miss with black and gold, for instance, the Denver Broncos or the Florida Gators with the blue and orange. And the same thing with fashion. People tend to dress with colors that match together or work well together. All right. Now we're going to start with the color wheel. Now the base color wheel contains three sets of colors. The primary colors, which are your red and your yellow and your blue, and secondary colors, which are the green, the purple, and your orange, and the territorial combinations, which are kind of your combination of the primary and secondary colors. So you put these two guys together, you get this one. Put these two guys together, you get this one. All right. Going on to color relationships. So with this, you get complementary colors or the colors that are exactly across from each other on the color wheel. And many times sports teams or other entities, they tend to use colors that match up pretty well. So in this case, we see the purple and gold, which we know many teams use that. Minnesota Vikings, LSU Tigers, and I mentioned the blue and orange before of the Denver Broncos and the Florida Gators. Also, as you see, red and green Christmas colors, and you can see these different type of color combinations pretty often uh, out and about. Now, another fact I ran up on was that orange was typically used as a brighter color with life jackets and water rafts, rescue rafts, because of the way the orange stands out in the contrast against the blue water, which makes perfect sense to me. Also, orange was chosen as the backdrop for hunting vests and hunting jackets and hunting gear because of the way the orange pops out in the forest or in the woods. Same thing with plastic toy guns with the orange tip. It really shows a true contrast against the black. Okay, here we have the Miami Dolphins logo, which you saw earlier. These two colors are typically right across from each other on the full color wheel, which makes sense and they work well together. I showcased the purple and gold earlier, which you see right here on this LSU logo that I have here. The two colors work well together and they do contrast pretty well. All right, shades and tints. Now, the pure color is the hue, and adding black to a hue creates a shade. Adding white to a color creates a tint. Now, what I want to show here, if you go look, you're going to edit and create, edit and paint 3D. I want to pull up, we can kind of show some shading and tinting. Okay, going to create a new color here. Now, you see our base color would typically be here. And you see the hues down here at the bottom. Adding that black, these would be considered various shades. Lightening it up in this part of the spectrum here would be various tints. And you see how we can go and select pretty much any color we want, tinting it, so to speak, how we want, or shading it how we want. That's a good way to look at, I guess, different colors on the color wheel in its complete nature by seeing everything that's out there. All right, warm colors versus cool colors. Now, warm colors tend to stand out, while cool colors usually create some contrast. They kind of fade to the back, so to speak, or they're really you can use the cool colors to really make those warm colors intensify. So you may have a little bit of blue for your background, but you may want some red or some orange to really stand out. Now I'm going to showcase some of this with some of my projects that I did for our class. So right here, the original images of campus and had the yellow sunflowers in the foreground. So I threw these two Southern Miss graphics up there just to show them and showcase it. And it really popped out. As you see, we got the blue sky background, but what stands out the most is the yellow on the eagle heads and the yellow on the sunflowers. Okay, now this project here, we got a lot of warm colors popping out here all over the place, and that actually it's kind of taking over the photo as opposed to the 5 Southern Miss images that you see that I have here. So I asked the question here at the bottom: what stands out most, the wild colors or the Southern Miss logos? Personally, I think it's the wild colors, but you see them really pop out, and you see the cool colors of the blues and light greens that are really contrasting against these hot pinks and oranges and reds. And that is a wrap, my friends. I hope you enjoyed chapter 7. And as you see, we got this colorful background here, and